Hello everyone and welcome to the second video in my tutorial series, JavaScript for Beginners. Now in this video we are going to actually start writing some code, and we are going to be setting up a simple website. The reason for this is the simplest way for me to allow you to write JavaScript is to run within a website. So to go ahead and get started, we are going to open up Visual Studio Code, which I had you install in the previous video. As a reminder, if you are on Mac or Linux, you can check out the links in the description of my previous video. I linked to some tutorials that explain how to install VS Code on those operating systems. Now, once you are in, it should look something like this, or possibly something like this. And then what you want to do is go ahead and click the Explorer button here on the left. If you are on Mac or Linux, you can hit Open Folder, otherwise hit Open Folder in WSL if you're on Windows, and then go ahead and open your code folder. You can just create some folder on your desktop for this. Once you have it open, it'll look something like this. And then, so to get started, what we're going to do is we want to hit New File here. And then, like I said, we're going to be setting up a very simple website to run our JavaScript. So index.html, create a file called index.html, and then type exclamation point, and then hit enter. And then this is a simple like website template code. And in order to actually see your website, you want to come here to the extension list. It's this button on the left, and then search live server, and then click on this first result, live server by Ritwik Day. You should be able to have this green install button here. I don't have it because I already have it installed. And then once you install it, you can close that and reload your window. So then you want to click back on this Explorer here, and you'll see not much has changed, except now, once this loads, on the bottom right, you should have this Go Live button. If you see my mouse, go ahead and click that, and then it will open up a website here in your browser. So now this website is actually based on this file. So what we want to do is right-click and hit Inspect, and then go to the console. And so what you want to do is open the console. And this is where most of what your JavaScript does you will see in this area. So to actually begin with the JavaScript, you want to hit New File again, right up here, and then type in index.js, and then this is your JavaScript file right here. Now to actually link your JavaScript file to your website, you want to go in between these two body tags, body/body, and then open an angle bracket, and then type script space src for source, equals, and then do some parentheses or some quotations, my bad, and then close it with a closing angle bracket. And then it auto-populated this for me, but it might not for you. If it didn't, then go ahead and do an opening /script closing. And then in between these source parentheses here, or these source quotations, you want to type ./index.js. And all this is doing here is this is linking our index.js file with this website, so that we can actually write some code in here and it'll run. So to get started, we're going to write hello world, which is the beginning program that you usually write whenever you learn a new language. So we type console.log, and then you want to open parentheses here and then put single quotes inside, and then you can type hello world, exclamation. Don't forget, you need to put a semicolon at the end of each JavaScript statement. So once you do that, you save it, and then if you see here in the console, it prints hello world, exclamation, like we wrote it here. So that was your first line of code. Congratulations if this was your first line of code in JavaScript. And actually for this lesson, what we are going to also cover is variables and data types. So now variables are a fundamental concept that you need to learn in any programming language. They are essentially, you can think of them essentially like boxes with labels and something inside. So for example, if you want to have a variable called name, then it's a box with a label that says name, and then you can put a name inside, for example. And in JavaScript, how we do that is we type let name equal, and then a single quote, and then Matthew, for example. That's my name. And what this is doing is this is creating a box with the label name, and then it's setting what's inside to Matthew, like the word. And then, for example, if you want to do an age, let age equals 16, what it's doing is creating a box with a label called age, and then it's setting 16, and it's putting it inside that box. So that's basics of variables in JavaScript. Now, the other concept is data types, and those are used in a lot of programming languages, implicitly or explicitly. And what like there are 4 or 5 different main data types in JavaScript. The first one is a string. The second one is a number. The third one is a Boolean. And then the fourth one is kind of null / undefined. Those are technically 2 different types. The first one, string here, is either single or double quotes generally, and this all this means, this is a string of characters, for example, that's what it is. It's a word, a sentence, a paragraph. They can all be strings, and that's all it is. It's like strings of characters, basically. And then a number is a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, anything like that. A Boolean is simply true or false. That's a Boolean. And then null and undefined are like kind of similar. They both, in essence, mean nothing, but those are a little advanced for this tutorial, so just know of their existence, but we're not going to talk much about them. So this has been the basics of variables in data structures or data types. It's a fundamental concept across many programming languages. It might be a little bit boring at first, but don't worry, in the next tutorial we will be covering if statements and booleans.